Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. So in this video, I'll be reviewing how I built this particular workbench. I reviewed a lot of YouTube videos. I asked a lot of questions on different online groups about certain things with this particular build. So it's been a lot of fun, and yeah, I've been very happy with it so far. So with that, let's get into the video. On my existing workbenches, they were 33 inches tall, so I'll be cutting my legs here 28 inches length. That's because I have 4-inch casters, 4¼ inch casters, and I got a 3/4 inch top plywood. So it'll be right at 33 inches once these are done. So what I'm going to do now is make some legs. I've seen these on a few videos of how to make these legs where you basically do an offset and then you basically do an inlay such as this. This would be the other leg, and you glue and screw them together. And a lot of folks are saying they're really strong and nice to have, and it makes it for a good look. So I will be doing that now. So these legs are actually much easier to build than what I had thought they would be, if you got the right spacers in place and everything else. So just putting those down, making sure that the center piece of the wood goes into the middle. I did make sure I clamped it together to get it all aligned correctly. And then I did have, like I said, glue, and then I screwed everything down. And yeah, I really liked the way these things turned out. And I had 6 legs that I was going to have to do this to. So there was quite a bit of repetitive work here, but it was really good. Okay, so now that our legs and supports are all made, glued up, screwed in, I did make a mistake on this. This is going to be the side that is going to be showing. So I should have put the screws on the other side. That way this would be the inside and this would be the outside, and the screws would not show. This is going to be a workbench for my shop, so I'm not going to worry too much about it, but I could have had a very clean look if I had not made that mistake. But we'll move on. So I will go ahead and begin to continue to build, putting this all together. Putting these all together was pretty easy. Just lining everything up, of course, making sure it's all square, and then putting in my screws. On this part of the build, I did not glue anything up because I might want to later down the road, if I move or something, I'm going to want to take it apart and take it with me. But yeah, you'll see me just kind of attaching everything again, just making sure everything is square and putting in the screws. I will tell you this much though, this particular build uses a lot of screws. There's quite a bit. I got 4 in each side that's connecting up there. So yeah, it was a lot of screws that had to get going in. And just making sure everything was square was also another bit of a not so much a challenge, but just had to make sure it was done. Okay. One side's done. I think I might have made a mistake on this brace because I'm going to be putting 2 on here. I need to measure back from where my table saw is going to be on back and make sure that's right. So I may have to move this one, so I'll do that now. And then I'll be off on making the other one, so there'll be 2 of these. But you'll see where, yeah, I have all my screw holes here. Oh well, could have easily done it from the other side, but it is what it is. So I will get to work on moving that brace and making the next one. So the life of a beginner woodworker, redoing things. Oh yeah, my favorite thing. But that's okay. I ended up getting it moved over. It wasn't that big of a deal since I did not glue it. I was able to move it pretty quickly and just getting it in the right place. So I did have to remeasure a few things to make sure the table saw opening was correct, where it's going to drop in and everything else. But yeah, so it is in the right spot now, and it will be continuing on to the next step. I think I'm going to have to make one more brace. I think that'll be advisable. One more here. And then what I will have is casters at each post. That also gives me enough room down here to be able to put in shelves and things like that, drawers or whatever I might need. This big opening would not be very, would not work very well with that type of situation. So I'll go ahead and build this other two of these to go here. And then, like I said, I'll begin on the next one. Okay, there you go. One side done. I got everything spaced correctly. So yeah, I'm happy with it so far. I'll make one more side and then we'll begin to put the cross members in and get them attached. It may not look like it's going to be very tall, but it will have casters on it, and I will be putting a top on it as well. Plywood will go on top, so it'll raise it up. It'll be about 33 inches total to the top from the floor once everything's all put together. So I will move on to the next one. Okay, let's see just how fast can I build the other side. So yeah, big part of it was measuring and making sure it was square and making sure the cross members of the leg parts all lined up correctly. But it pretty much was a mirror image of the other side, so it was pretty easy to do. So yeah, getting done pretty quick. All right, so my second side is done, all put together. So what I'm going to do now, before I go too much further, is I plan to use pocket holes to connect the top rail to the actual top. So I'm going to go ahead and get those drilled in now while I can with my pocket hole jig, and then we'll start doing the crossovers after that. So right now I have the ability to do it because I can stand it up and put pocket holes in. But if I wait until I get the cross members put in, I probably won't be able to do it then. So that's what I'm doing next, and then we'll go from there. So yet another beginner mistake. I did not record the actual putting in the pocket holes on the rails. So here I am doing the side braces. I am pocket holing those and screwing them into the actual top and bottom rails. You'll see this all come together here in a bit. But yeah, so yep, another beginner mistake. So we'll kind of take it from there. And you can see things are just kind of coming together now. The other side's going up, and you'll see it on the ground here in a second. So once it's on the floor, it's much more manageable. And we now have the other side put on top of it. So here I am just kind of screwing it all together. I did use a ratchet strap to be able to pull things together and align it all correctly. You might see that there on the middle. But everything else I did do make sure it was square. And yeah, so it all kind of came together. It was, again, pretty easy once I got down there, but yeah. Okay, the base is now done. Everything's been screwed and over screwed probably. I probably didn't need to use as many as I did, but just wanted to be sure it was very sturdy. I made sure that everything was aligned, so when the top came down, it would go flush and would be level. So I may have to adjust, we'll see how it goes. But the next steps will be to flip it over and start to make the stand. So I will be show you my table saw over there. That's on a cart that I built a long time ago. It's going to be integrated into this new table. So that'll be the next task, and then we'll kind of go from there. I do have the top for it already, and the bottom. I have a bottom sheet as well, and hopefully it'll all come together. So this sheet is actually the bottom, and I have it flipped over upside down, and I'm just trimming it down a little bit. It had like an inch or so too long for the bottom, so I'm just trimming it down. Other than that, it's a straight 4x8 sheet of birch plywood. So, and I had already marked the spots where I needed to make the cuts for the legs. You'll see what I mean here in a second. And I'm just using my jigsaw to make these cuts and get them out of there. So, but you'll see in here in a minute where there was a little bit of a mistake. So, yeah. So the mistake here was it would not fit with those rails on the way they were. So I basically had to take those out Again, beginner mistake here, and oh yeah, I love redoing things. So once I removed those rails though, I was able to get the bottom down with the cuts made out for the legs that are going to be going around it. But yeah, this was yeah, a do and redo moment in this particular build. So finally, after a few bit of adjustments, I got it in. Can you believe it? So now it's time to get the actual table saw down and measured in and make sure it's all going to fit properly into its slot. So this is what I'm doing here, just making sure it's all going to fit. Then we're just making the base frame for the table saw platform here. So before this thing gets too unruly moving around, I decided to wait until my casters came in the mail, and I got them. So I am installing them onto it. This way, once I get it flipped back down onto the casters, I won't have to worry about flipping it on its side again to put the casters on. Because from here forward, things are going to get really heavy once I start getting the top on this thing and the platform for the table saw. So yeah, it's best just to get these in now. It's now on the floor, which is good. So now I'm making the platform for the table saw. So I'm going to have to cut some of these edges out where the feet are, the legs are. So I'm just measuring for that. I'm going to get my jigsaw out here and cut those edges off and get this installed. You'll see down below I added 2 more supports to the overall platform frame. That's just because I felt like I needed to have a little more support than what was there, so I just added those in. Again, pocket hole screws on those and putting those in. But once this is cut out, it will flop right in on the bottom, and then it'll be ready to put the table saw on. So I went ahead and added 1 more brace to the very front of this section of the table saw platform, just for some extra support. Okay. So I've got all my braces and everything in. I had to notch out, I'm not sure if you can see over there, but I had to notch out the side here for the track on the table saw. Everything is now working and functioning correctly. I haven't mounted the table saw yet because I need to shim it up once I get the tabletop on, so that'll be next, is tabletop. And I'm using pocket screws for the tabletop, so you won't see anything on the top of it. I didn't use pocket screws on the bottom parts. We'll see how that goes. I don't see a lot of sawdust getting in the middle, but maybe on the edges, but I think I can blow it off and get it out of there. And I had top screws on my other tables, and I didn't have any problems with that either. So I'll leave that there. But the top I wanted to have nice and clean. I'm going to be putting dog holes in my top. It's probably going to be a future project. For now, I'm just going to get the table top screwed down. I'm going to get 1 side piece to the table saw over there, and it'll be ready to go. So stay tuned. So here I am putting on the top, just getting it all aligned, ready to go for the pocket hole screws when that gets going. And then I'm going to be putting a piece on the side here. So I'm just kind of measuring that up right now to get that cut for size. And once it's all installed, it'll look pretty good. So, beginner mistake. My recordings did not get captured. And I'm still looking into why of my last few things I did on my workbench. So let me just do a quick review for you on what all I have done. So I was able to add this other side piece to the table. I did have to notch it out for my fence rails coming in on both sides. I had to notch it over here and over here. And then I didn't like this gap being so much here, so I added this piece. I didn't have any more 3/4 birch plywood. Otherwise, I would have just made it so it looked the same. So at some point, I'll be getting more birch plywood. I'll probably replace this particular board right here, because right now it's just a piece of common ply, a common board I had, and I just cut it to length and put it in there. So I put that in there. I made sure it was small enough so me be able to still be able to get my fence out of my table saw. So those were these 2 pieces and getting them ready. And then I added rails around the table or the workbench all the way around. I glued them and Brad nailed them in. And then once the glue had set up, I did a round over on all the edges. I did it all the way around the table to make it and kind of finalize the project that way. So it's turned out very well. I've already used it on one project. I'm really liking it a lot. So yeah, it was a good, fun project. Well, that's it for this video. If you got anything out of this video, including a good laugh at this beginner's mistakes, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, give me some comments. Be nice, but yeah, critique me a little bit here, because the only way I'm going to learn as a beginner is to learn from everybody else out there. So yeah, please give me some comments on this and that'll be good. But otherwise, we'll see you in the next video.